Hello, I'm Dr. Alisha Lola Jones, and welcome to our series entitled Men Who Sing High. Next up, we have Cortez Mitchell, who is a member of the world-class ensemble Chanticleer. He's singing Sergei Rachmaninoff's Vocalies. You've heard many do this song, but you have not quite heard it like Cortez Mitchell. And right after his performance, we'll get an interview from him. He's one of several countertenors who represent Morgan State University's fine tradition of singing high. Let's take a look. Tell me, how do you classify yourself? What are you, a sopranist, a countertenor, a falsettist? I have a sneaking suspicion I know, but tell us.
Yeah, I generally go with countertenor, and I think that the term countertenor embraces, all the males who sing in their falsetto primarily, and it's just, the term sopranos, it just signifies the ease in sitting in a much higher tessitura. I don't like to sit up that high,
Mhm.
It would be nice, but that's just not my gift. And so, I'm more up closer to like what most people would consider a mezzo soprano.
Got
Um,
you.
and I sit in that range a lot better with
Yeah.
moonlights into the top.
Yeah, you have brighter qualities though, I would kind of say, in terms of your timbral
The
quality.
color,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So the first time I encountered your work was on the Today Show. I was watching looking for a good friend of mine who said they were appearing. And then, of course, like many of us, especially those who've been trained in concert music, we're looking for the Black presence
Hmm.
in productions. So Chanticleer is a predominantly white ensemble. What has
Uh-huh.
it been like to represent in that organization and that ensemble?
You know, it's I don't know how many people were aware when I joined Chanticleer. A big presence in the group that's always behind the scenes is our music director.
Mm.
And for 20 years, our music director of Chanticleer was Joseph Jennings, who was another Black male. And so coming into the ensemble, having him as the director, that gave me another sense of comfort. And, um, I didn't feel like I had to represent so hard. You know how you're in a situation where you feel like, oh, I have to be, that only like representation and speak
Right,
for the people in a sense.
right.
But I fell into place very, very easily and just brought my talents and my gifts to the ensemble as we all did. We had different backgrounds and people would, give insight to things that they were more closely informed in and related to. So,
The musicianship and the compositions are just I always enjoy hearing and seeing you all perform. I actually was asking you what it is like now for you all in terms of performances. How are you guys dealing with the quarantine?
this is insane. I mean, I honestly, it's very scary right now. Of course, just like every other musical organization, things have been canceled, and so we are in the process of just keeping things afloat, looking at music, waiting for that go. So I'm doing
Yeah,
some score study and just hoping and praying that this quarantine ends soon.
yeah.
But the reality is it's a little grim, and but I'm keeping faith and just hoping that it'll it'll get better soon.
I'm praying with you. I'm praying with you. So, what would you want people to know about you off stage? Like, who are you? Who is Cortez Mitchell off stage?
I'd say I'm just a very kind individual who enjoys life and keeping contact with friends, maintaining relationships, and just trying to live life to the fullest. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
What has your musical journey been? How did you get a sense that you are a countertenor?
I think um, I think your voice tells you where you should be, and so when I got into undergrad, I was studying as a tenor my first year at Morgan State University, and Morgan has a huge history of having countertenors there, um, and that was part of the reason why I got a choir scholarship. Um, Dr. Carter thought that I might be a countertenor, and I always had access to my falsetto. It was one of the more comfortable parts of my voice. And so when I got to Morgan and I had heard Kenneth Austin singing, and I was just like, wow. First of all, I was like, am I supposed to be able to do what he's doing? I can't do that. I can sing some of those notes, but he's well beyond me. And so in my voice lessons, I talked to my teacher and let him know that, I had this access. And he just said, that is a beautiful sound. He said, you just have to make a decision. He gave me a CD of American countertenor David Daniels at the time. And that really gave me some confidence to know that it is possible to have a career, a professional career as a countertenor. And then as I began to do more research, I discovered Derek Lee Reagan, who, was a
A
trailblazer.
legend. Yeah.
And, he had sung with Moses Hogan Chorale, and I don't know how I had missed that before.
I
And
don't know
so
that he sang with the Moses Hogan Chorale. I didn't know
he,
that.
there's a whole CD. What is it? It's not Deep River. That I discovered, and I didn't know that initially.
Wow. Wow. And we actually mentioned Derek Lee Reagan in my article on countertenors as one of the voices that was the composite of Farinelli in the,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
and see, I found that out in undergrad as well. It was him and another soprano,
Yes.
and when I watched that film, I was so inspired, and finding that information out that he was one of the voices, I was just like, yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, because you have this rare voice classification, I'm sure as for education efforts, opera companies have outreach opportunities. What is something that you often want people to know about your instrument?
Um, Basically, it's not a. So many people have considered it to be a freak of nature kind of thing. It's so otherworldly, but the thing is,
It's rare. It is rare. It is
it's rare. It's very rare, but the thing is, it's a sound that most men have access to. Some, which with a much more ease than others, but it's simply using that falsetto register. And I've like I said, I my voice told me where I should be, and it's just been one of those things that has just come so easily.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that young man who has not had the opportunity to receive formal education, but he is singing in someone's choir,
Mhm.
what advice do you have for their sort of journey? What do you have to tell them, or what would you have liked to know?
Well, one of the things is just being aware that that singing countertenor is a possibility. And see, I learned about it in high school actually. A group called the Scholars of London came to my high school in Detroit, Michigan, and I was very confused when the group got on stage because there was only one female, and standard classification, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. I said, what's going on here? Where's the mezzo? Where's the alto? And then I hear this male singing in the alto range, and I said, "Oh my God, I like that's what I like that. I could do that sort of thing." And so that's one of the things students need to be aware
Mhm.
of this possibility. And when you find that you have access to the falsetto so easily, make sure you continue to exercise it. I mean, it comes in even if you don't end up studying officially as a countertenor or that sort of thing. It's a very healthy thing to do for your instrument. Even as a tenor, you have to figure out how to mix the head voice and the chest voice as a tenor to get up to those top notes. And so I would say, if you have that facility, just keep checking in with it. And once you find say a teacher, if you're going to go into music as a voice major, just keep in tune with that, and you never know what the possibilities might be.